bring it within easy access for spectators. They can get out there and see what it's all about.
To the competitors now, and Ford's off-road squad have in the last 5 years really worked hard on producing fine cars, teams that stand up to the pressure of consistent performance, and drivers who can hang tough in the trenches.
Ford point of view, our positioning is built for tough. So the off-road is an important and integral part of the positioning. And if you look at how we launched the new Ranger, the new Ranger's positioning is 100% truck. And off-road racing just justifies that positioning. And it's an important part of the marketing mix, we believe.
What about expertise to run and manage the Ford teams for a tough season ahead?
We feel that it's a specialist function. The expertise, we don't have that in-house. And if you think about with Neil Woolridge especially, we've been associated with him for a long time. He's built vehicles, he's raced vehicles, he's got the expertise, and who better to entrust the brand to?
Ford is at a proud international record. How is that integrated into local racing?
From the off-road point of view, we are the leaders when it comes to off-road for Ford worldwide. We do get expertise advice from our source companies in terms of engines and so forth. They do give us advice. Also we get a lot of queries now, lately, from the other companies like Ford of Portugal. They want to buy a vehicle. So that's the starting now. So that's an interesting, from a South African point of view, I believe, that means we've proven something. Neil and his team have done so well for us. They're now, the overseas companies are asking about our vehicle.
We wanted to know if Ford's sponsorship of the new Gauteng event will continue, and if so, why?
We feel that that's important, especially for the local, wherever the locality we are, just to show that we do sponsor the event. It's good for publicity. It's good to show that Ford is part of the team, and not only racing but also just sponsoring an event. It's good for our customers, and we use that as an opportunity to take our customers to, take some media to the event, and also our internal people. It's an important part of our sponsorship.
Does it affect sales as far as the off-road vehicles are concerned, and is it possible to quantify it?
I'd like to believe that the off-roading is part of the marketing mix and has resulted in good sales. And we can't quantify specifically what off-road has done for us, but together with the other marketing mix, I think it's done a world of good. As I said before, it's part of our Ford tough heritage, and we believe that off-road plays an integral part, an important part of that fact.
The SP class has brought a new interest to the production vehicle category of racing, especially for Ford.
Look, the formula of SP is fantastic. There's certain components that everybody has to use, and then it's down to how we put the car together and the backup that we have. So we believe we've got the best team and the best backup. We're looking a little bit in developing a bit more power, but last year we won the last race, and if we can take it forward from there, hopefully we'll start off on the same footing this year.
There is also a new program that has worked very well for Ford, and that includes all the dealers, an exciting venture that involves another tier of the market.
Well, it fits in with the Ford dealer program. We've now got all the dealers involved in our program, and obviously with the new 3-litre Ranger, that is the new shape, the new evolution, and so we've rebodied the cars, and it actually gives us a little bit of advantage in certain areas.
There are also a few interesting and big-name signings on the books for the blue and white trademark oval.
Well, we're fortunate. We've got a few new partners this year. We've got Lucio and Jack in the Class E, which is fantastic. They'll be campaigning the new 3-litre. And then we've got Neil and myself, also in SP, which have been there forever. Mark Ferguson and Craig West in the SP. And then we've got Kobus and Rion in the X, that was our old car from 2006. And then, of course, we've got LP and I think Henny Testege. So, yeah, we've got a fantastic team, and I think Ford will be a great force this year.
The signing of Cox and Testege, who have formed a championship-winning combination before, is a big coup for Ford and will no doubt be a big threat throughout the 08 season.
Well, eventually they all come across. I mean, it only takes a matter of time and they all get to where they should be. So, no, it's great to have a good competitive driver and navigator in another car. It just adds to the strength of Ford Motor Racing in South Africa.
The inquiries have come from far and wide. What with the consistent performances from Ford on local soil?
There's been a lot of interest in our cars from European countries, basically planning on doing the Dakar, and their series is over there. So we've got quite a few customers that have shown interest, and Neil has spoken to them and he's put a program together for them, and we'll take it further from there. But our concentration is on South Africa. Our demands are better here, the race conditions are more difficult, so if it works here, it'll certainly work overseas.
Is there in the Ford camp a certain team that gets preferential treatment or cars? How does it work?
Now look, it's very important. I mean, we don't segregate whoever's running with the Ford. We have assistants for all of them, and Neil's been fantastic in actually carrying them and giving them technical advice, so we hope to continue and build on that base. Obviously, we're restricted in how many cars we can build in a year. But whatever we've built, it's continued racing. So we have a great program, and we expect possibly one, maybe two new SPs this year. So we've got a good program going forward. We've tied in all the dealers, and it's really working well.
Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA, going the extra mile to get you finance.
Tour, live on Supersport, proudly sponsored by Telkom Business.
To you by Ram Hand-to-Hand Couriers.
Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA, going off the beaten track to find solutions.
Nissan won no less than 6 out of the 8 production car races in the 2007 ABSA Off-Road Championship, and the giant Japanese manufacturer is planning to pick up where they left off. One of their key factors to success is their technology and the clever use of it. Motorsport manager Glenn Hall.
Well, the technology in these off-road pickups is actually quite extensive, and we've got 3 major manufacturers fighting for the championship. So we put a lot of emphasis on our past experience and developing new small features continuously to make the cars faster and faster. And of course, reliability is such a key issue, so the drivers can push them harder for longer.
And that's exactly what happens in off-road racing. But Nissan seems to be doing it better for longer. It all comes down to knowledge.
For us, the technology that we learned during all of the events that we've done over the past 8 years is substantial. Going to Dakar and having literally 10,000K events is also an incredible wealth of knowledge that one can gain in actually a short period of time. So we access those technologies literally, on a daily or weekly basis, going back, what broke, how did we make this, and how can we do it better next time.
Not that they haven't been doing it well already, but where does their strength lie? Is it teamwork, the cars, reliability? What really works?
Well, I think that the strength in any team is the individuals, and of course I head up the team, but I'm only just a small part of that. Everybody pushes hard together, and we try to act as a family and try to grow together, and we have simple sort of buy-off lines that I like, that every day we must try and learn something new, and we've got a lot of new young technicians on board, and it's a great privilege to be able to teach them stuff and watch them grow, and that's how we grow the team and get stronger and stronger.
Hall was awarded one of the most prestigious awards in South African motorsport and was humbled by the experience.
I was very fortunate to receive the accolade from the Colin Watling Award for achievements outside of in motorsport, but not as a competitor. And that again is a tribute to the entire team and really all the experience that we've gained, and it's a real honor and a most enjoyable evening. It was too. It was 200 or 300 very influential people there from business and from the sport, and of course the media who made this possible. Well, we've got a small change this year. We've got Francois, who's decided to take a sabbatical away from the car. He wants to go and do a little bit of traveling and develop some business opportunities he's got, and I expect we might well see him back again in the future. And so Hannes will be partnered by Jean Moore. Jean is a really great guy with fits in well to the team, which is very important to us, and he's young to be able to stay with us for a long time. We don't like changing team members too often, actually, because it's quite nice. We're tight and we're close, and everybody helps each other. So I think John will fit in well. And of course, we've got Duncan and Ralph, who did a fantastic job last year, Duncan winning his second championship. So we've got a lot of experience there. And we've got Ivar Tollefsen from Norway, who's really grown last year and shown how consistency, methodical approach, which he is, and I mean, he's a very successful businessman, and he's been developing his skills during the year and finished third in the championship. Fantastic achievement, I think, especially considering the fierce competition that we've got. We've got a great strength in our privateer lineup, and of course the privateers are the backbone of our sport, and that's really what we're trying to build into the future. These guys, without them, we wouldn't have a sport. So, and in Nissan we've got a nice, small, very competitive bunch of guys. We've got Henry Zamatin in the Class D hardbody with Ryobi sponsorship this year. They're going to do a great job, I'm sure. Kutsia Labuskakny with his Raysonics hardbody as well, who was really pushing and led the championship at one point last year. So those guys are heading our Class D. We've got Thomas Rundle in Class E. Now Thomas has been showing potential for the last 18 months, and we'll be pushing him to win the championship this year. He's really got the potential, he's got the speed, and just needs to get a bit of the reliability sorted out in his vehicle, and he'll be there.
The privateers pulled Nissan through to another manufacturer's trophy, and Hall is aware that they would not have done it by themselves.
The privateers in winning the manufacturer's championship are essential. Without them, we simply could not do it. So, you know, we place a lot of pressure on them, and we'd like to really extend our sincere thanks to all of the privateer entrants we have in Nissan, and without them, we couldn't do it.
What is the Nissan team strategy for 2008? What have they got up their sleeves?
Yeah, the strategy for 2008, wow, I think it will be pretty similar to 2007. So I'll be asking the drivers, A, drive as fast as you can, B, don't damage the cars, C, be at the finish, and hopefully the rest will take care of itself. You know, we've got some really great guys. The cars have been so reliable. You know, the Navara has been a real revelation for us. With last year, if we added up, we did 15,000 racing kilometers and literally only had 2 minor failures in the car, and one of them shouldn't have even really happened. So the reliability has been great, and of course this gives the confidence to the drivers to be able to push for 6 hours at a time, flat out, and it's tough out there. So that'll be the strategy for 2008. Go as fast as you can, for as long as you can, and bring it home.
There are some changes to the production car category, but nothing earth-shattering. The 3 classes intrinsically remain the same. The prolific championship-winning navigator Francois Jordan, however, is the production car representative in 2008.
The classes are basically the same as in the past. You know, in every aspect of sport, there are rules. And in our sport, in motor racing, and in more particularly in this case in off-road racing, we have to abide by the Motorsport South Africa rules. It's all inscribed in the book. When you buy your license, you get all the regs and rules, and you build your car according to that. On the production side, we basically only got 3 classes. We've got a Class E, a Class D, and then the super production, the SP class. Basically, Class E is 3.5 liter maximum, diesel or petrol. In the diesel variety, you can have the turbo-fitted models, and it's, as I said, it's the 4-cylinder. Class. Very limited modifications. Class D is 6 cylinders, very standard cars as well. The modifications are limited to the suspension. You may put a stronger suspension into, you know, we run in difficult conditions. So you can reinforce mounting points, you can put stronger springs and struts and other shock absorbers in. You can strengthen the steering mounting points. There's a couple of modifications, but basically it's a standard vehicle. Limited modifications on the engine as well. Nothing on the manifolds, nothing on that can really make it go faster. You can do some stuff on the electronics. You can balance the motor, but it must be a standard car. That is basically what Class D and E revolves around. The man in the street can buy that car and he can run with it on his dirt roads, and he will have a good vehicle. And that's where the testing program also comes on for the manufacturers. I know that the manufacturers has done a lot of modifications on cars, gearboxes, buckies, LDVs, that came from rally or race-proven stuff that broke, gearboxes that a problem in the gearbox has been rectified on one of the manufacturers, a problem on the front diff has been rectified on another manufacturer. So it's a very good testing ground for the manufacturers.
What about SP?
The SP class comes from the old Class T cars. Now, SP car stands for Super Production. It's a full-blown race car. That is an exciting car to be in, and it's also a very much cheaper form of racing than the old Class T cars, and that's why the Super Production cars were brought in. The engine must be fitted in the original position, unlike the old Class T cars that had the mid-engine. The suspension is highly modified. They all run with a sequential gearbox of the same make. If I can explain a sequential gearbox, it works like a motorbike gearbox. You start on the one side, and first is on top and six is in the back, and you just pull or push it whichever way you want to go. It's a very strong gearbox. That's a very, very fast car, very strong car, and but they are fitted with a restrictor on the inlet manifold to curb the power. The reason for that being that you want to keep it as cheap as possible. And I can only think of one manufacturer during the last season that's had an engine problem. So it proved to be a successful formula. It started off with 246 SP class, and this year there's going to be 17 after the third year, third full season of SP running. So that proves the point. It's going to be a very exciting season between the manufacturers. There's going to be Ford, Nissan, and Toyota. And there are rumors of some other manufacturers also coming in.
What are the spin-offs for the public from off-road racing from days gone by to today, and the new attitude to the racing?
I think the spin-off to the public is tremendous. The people follow the races much more now than in the past because of the battle between the manufacturers. And you know, there's Ford guys, there's Toyota guys, and there's Nissan guys, and they are keen followers of all the vehicles. And I think it surely shows in the sales as well. I don't want to single out manufacturers, but they all tell me that they are benefiting from the racing program, selling LDVs.
For the Japanese motor manufacturer, off-road racing is the ideal showcase to displaying their workability out on the hills and dales of a rough and tough countryside.
Motorsport is part and parcel of the Nissan way of doing business since the early days when we were rallying, carrying on now with our off-road series, having followed through with hard body, now with Navara. It's an invaluable marketing tool. It positions us as a company that builds world-class product, and we do very well at Motorsport. Off-road gives us an opportunity to demonstrate our vehicles out in the field where they're performing, designed to do what they do best.
The Nissan record is enviable, but how do you keep it up?
7 successive wins have been great for us. More important to us is to try and get the 8th successive win. It's a highly competitive environment. We've proven ourselves over the last 7 years with hard body and more recently with Navara. And this is a very important proving ground, so we want to carry on with the success.
The Nissan Dealer 400 in Darling is where the hosts have invariably done well.
The sponsorship of the Darling Rally and the Sugar Belt are very important to us. They are races where we've traditionally done very well, and they're areas where we sell well, but we'd like to build our sales, and we think it's very important to continue with those 2 races and to actually take the product to the people.
Vehicle and asset finance from ABSA. Going the extra mile to get you finance from ABSA. Going off the beaten track to find solutions.
For Toyota, there have been rapid jumps in improvement, and but for 1 or 2 cases of bad luck striking at the worst of times, it may have been a fairy tale story for the other Japanese brand, with Mark Renier twice within sight of the finish line and then crashing. The question for Toyota's motorsport manager, Wami Haddad, is how to change bad luck into good luck, and then making sure that the brand seems ready to stake a claim for consistent victory.
That's a difficult question to change bad luck into good luck, but we're going to do it this year. Our vehicles are pretty much on pace, it looks like, with the Nissans and the Fords, so we just need a little bit of extra luck to get to the front, and this year we plan to do that. We must get there. We'll be running 5 vehicles to start off with. We've built 2 new vehicles for Mark and for Bevan to run in the works team, and then Chris Fisher and Hugo de Bruyn will be running the 2 vehicles from last year. and their vehicles have been sold off to George Barkhuizen and to Jaco Swanepoel. And then Mike Thompson's also built a vehicle, and if I remember correctly, now that's 7 and not 5.
Toyota have a large contingent in the ABSA Off-Road Championship, and there is method behind their madness.
The idea is the more vehicles you have, the better presence you have at events, then it's just Toyotas. And also the Offshore Manufacturers Championship. You need points for manufacturers, and the more vehicles you have, the better your chances of getting manufacturers.
And the privateers have helped their cause too, often.
Privateers have always been good to us. That's where our manufacturers' points come from, and that's how we build a relationship with the market out there. And so we help privateers where we can. Budget's always a problem. Money never falls out the sky like the rain did this year, but we do as best as we can with what we have.
In Class D, the cars are standard issue and proves that a Toyota off the showroom floor is good to rough it.
That is also very important because the Class D and E vehicles are the more standard vehicles which can prove the robustness and the quality of the standard vehicle. So we need to have Ds and E's in there, and then of course they also get points.
How important is the Manufacturers' Championship to Toyota? They did after all clinch it in 2006 with a great effort from the Works team and the privateers.
Manufacturers is always very important. The championships, Manufacturers' Championship, show that it's not just a flash in the pan and a one-off special that can run out in the front, but that all the vehicles have the ability to do well and be up there in the chase.
And what are the goals for the 2008 season?
The plan is always to get that to the front and keep that winning. All the changes we've done are trade secrets, but to tell you the truth, it's just an evolution of the previous ones. And within the rules, there are not that much that we can do. So we just keep on chipping away at the block and make it better wherever we can.
Toyota had a reputation as the dominant force in off-road racing in South Africa for many a year, and have now earned the same in local rallying. We wanted to know what happened to change the status quo.
Yes, Toyota dominated for many years in the off-road racing, specifically in the days of a Land Cruiser with the big thumper. I think that Nissan got the march on us, having a big V6 engine available in their product range a number of years before us. So they've had about 8 or 9 years of development now. They've also been exporting the cars, and but we believe we've caught up to them. We've got the latest generation. Hilux has been on the market now for 2 years. It's an amazing success as a production vehicle, and I believe the team have really got up to speed, and we're proving it, because in last year's in quite a few of the events we were in the lead right until the very last minute. This year we have to be in the lead past the last minute, and I believe we've got the drivers, we've got the team, and we've certainly got the bakkie developed to a stage where it will be a strong force to be reckoned with this year.
And that's good news for the Toyota faithful. In Europe, it's going well too.
Yes, the S2000 project went very well for us. We've got 3 vehicles running in Europe already. And we do have ideas to start exporting for regional championships in Europe. So we probably won't go the full national champion or international FIA route, but we'll go the regional route like we developed the car here in South Africa. Of course, we export Hilux throughout Europe now, throughout Europe and Africa. So they also need the opportunity for the brand building with our vehicles. At the moment, our priority is very strongly still on the Aurus S2000. But during the course of the year, we do expect to have some vehicles leaving our shores. I think you'll definitely see some of our vehicles, particularly in Eastern Europe.
The biggest selling motor manufacturer in SA is always looking to improve, and feedback is all important in this climate.
You know, the production of Toyota products these days is a worldwide thing. But we do provide feedback to our engineers from time to time, and but the feedback comes more from the practical application of the vehicle. So we give odds and ends of feedback, little bits here and there, and where possible it is integrated into the modifications that are made over time. But these things take a long time in a big corporate environment. You know, the Hilux project is an 800,000 vehicles a year project around the world, of which we make about 80,000. So we're relatively small in the world for Hilux, but we are respected as being manufacturers of rugged vehicles.
Toyota has also been a long-time sponsor of races in far-flung or rural areas like Lydenburg and neighbours Botswana.
It's very important for Toyota to be involved in the rural communities in certain areas, and we've chosen Botswana and Mpumalanga, so the Lydenburg off-road event is very, very important for us, and in fact we're already starting planning of that event, which is in October of this year. So it's important for us to be seen in the rural areas. Obviously Hilux made its name with farmers, and it's important for them to be able to see us operating in these conditions. Botswana as well, very big market for us. At times we have up to 50% market share in Botswana, and it's very, very important for us to be seen, to be involved with the communities and providing entertainment, because ultimately off-road racing for the public needs to be entertainment, and it needs to prove our ruggedness, durability, as well as provide excitement to the public.
Winning is selling, as the parlance goes in motorsport. In rallying, it's been happening just about forever, and it seems close in off-road racing too.
Well, it's extremely important to us. You know, we've been winning the rally championships for many years, and for many years we also won the off-road manufacturers championships, and it's important to us too, because that shows the support that we give to the private operators in the sport. And it shows their dedication to us. So, of course, the Castrol Toyota team, the works team, is the most important part for us, but all of the guys that are running out there in Hiluxes, we're very proud of all of them, and we'd like to share the Manufacturers' Championship with them.
So the message is clear. Look out for Toyota in 2008.
Vehicle